Hello. It's been a while. It's been a long while, and a lot of things have just been going on. I've been so busy between work, family, and just life in general. It's been so many things have been happening. I don't even know where to start. I've been saying to myself, I really need to film a video. I really need to film a video. And just today, when I was going into the office, when I was going to work, I thought, oh, this is interesting. Something just happens that made me want to film a video. So I'm driving on my way to work along one of the A roads that I use to come from my house to the motorway. And the A road is literally farms. There's farms on both sides of the road. There's literally nothing, no footpaths, no one's supposed to be walking on it. And then I see this lady a little bit further, just like just going towards a bend, and I'm like, where's she going? So I keep, as I slowed down a little, I was thinking, this is so strange. And she was wearing high-heeled shoes, and she had a little bag. She was wearing work clothes. I'm like, why would she be walking on an A road which had no footpath whatsoever? So because the road there's so many trucks, there's so many fast moving cars, and I just thought, this is so dangerous for this lady. So because of that, I just thought I'll stop and ask her if she needed help. So I stopped to ask her if she needed help. I kind of slowed down, so the cars behind me slowed down as well. So which was good, because then I was like, if she doesn't need help, then at least people will be slowing down slightly while passing her, so no one's likely to veer towards where she is, or pass it at speed. Sometimes the truckers, they pass at such speed. When you're parked by like lay-by on the motorway and a truck passes you, while you're sitting in the car, you can actually feel the car vibrating. And I was like, oh my God, if one of these truckers go by her, it will literally just whiz, she will be blown into the fields. Like literally no one is even going to find her. So I asked her if she needed help, and she says, yeah, I'm just going to the next village. So she was kind of like walking to the next village because a car broke down. So I'm like, okay, I'll take you to wherever you're going. So she's like, it's not a problem. So I says, it's dangerous. I was literally trying to convince her. I mean, obviously, I'm a stranger. She's a stranger. So both of us are at risk, really. She's at risk of being kidnapped by whoever picks her up. I'm at risk of being attacked by whoever I pick up on the road. So both of us are kind of like not in a very good situation. But I just thought she was more in danger of being killed on the road rather than, so I just thought, it's only 5 minutes down. It wasn't even going to be 5 minutes, probably 3 minutes, 4 minutes drive to the next village where she was going. So I gave her a lift, and the first thing she said when she got in the car was, oh, if you were a man, I wouldn't have got in. So I understood exactly where she was coming from, because if it was a man, not that, anybody at 8 a.m. Would have any intention. There's no way. It's like, even if you were a person intending on doing harm to a person, there's no way you'd come out of your house, dress up, know that you're going to find a woman stranded on the road that needed a lift, and then you kidnap that woman, and then you either go and kill her or whatever it is that you would want to do. So it's almost like, I would say maybe it would have been by chance. You think, oh, this is luck. I've got a person that I want to kidnap. I don't know whether somebody would do that, but obviously there's a lot of bad people in the world. I can't dismiss their concerns, and I was also a little bit worried myself because you never actually ever see a person. I don't think it's allowed anywhere to for a person to wave down a car on the road. It's quite dangerous for both the driver and the pedestrian or the hitchhiker or whatever you call them. But she wasn't hitchhiking, she was walking. So because she was walking, and I felt sorry for her, that's why I decided to do this. So I get her and she tells me where she wanted to go. So I kind of like diverted just slightly. It was literally the next village. It was literally just come out and then come back onto the main road. So it wasn't too much of an effort for me anyway in that sense. So I went in and dropped her off, and then she was just telling me, so she went to one farm, which was in between, these farms. The farms are so like one farm is so far away from civilization. So she gets to the farm. She sits. She's a care worker. She does what she needed to do for an hour, and then she wanted to. She's finished because I think care workers, people do like who go from house to house. I don't know what it's called. They go from house to house to look after either elderly people or people with disability or whatever it is. She didn't exactly tell me exactly what sort of care she does give, but so after she finished her job, when she was ready to go to her next job, which was literally about 5 minutes in the next village, her car wouldn't start. So because of the time, she just thought, do you know what? Google Maps tells me all I need to do is get to the main road, walk for another 5-10 minutes on the main road, and then I'll be able to turn and go to the next village. So, hey, why not do it? So I think it was stupid. She could have probably called for a taxi, but she probably thought, I've got 30 minutes, so I might as well walk and save myself a little bit of money. But it was so dangerous. It was, I really, I really, really felt sorry for her but I just thought a taxi wouldn't have costed us so much more. But a person who's a carer, she probably doesn't earn as much. So that meant all the money that she's made at her first house or the second house all goes to the taxi. But regardless, I think she probably should have taken a taxi. But that wasn't the first. So she said, yep, fine, thank you. And then I dropped her off where she needed to go, and then I proceeded with my journey. But the whole day I was thinking about it, and I was just thinking how dangerous, how desperate people can get just to be able to go to work. Because imagine, she did not want to disappoint her clients by calling in and saying, well, I haven't got a car, so I'm not coming. I would assume if it was anybody else, I'm sure they would have just decided, that's it, I'm not coming, I'm not going. But it's good for her. She had very good work ethic, if you should, if you put it that way. But it was still a little bit reckless, or dangerous for her in any sense. So, but at least she managed to get where she needed to go, and hopefully she got her car sorted. But the funny thing that she said was, she actually mentioned to the people at the farm that her car won't work, and asked them if she could keep it, if it would stay there, and then later on when she's finished her rotation, should then get somebody to come and do it, to tow it or whatever it is that needed to be done. So, and they said, yeah, and they had 3 cars parked in the driveway, and 4 cars, about whatever amount of cars that were parked in the driveway, and none of them offered to drive her to the next place. So, or maybe she just didn't ask, whichever way, but none of them wanted to help each other. So I don't know. I to me it just sounded like she could have asked for a lift to go to the next place, because even if they are your clients, I think in any way they would have understood, because she did have a car, so they would have understood it. But it's work ethic, isn't it? It's about people who want to do right by either your job. It's not because you desperately need the money, but it's because you're just doing the right thing. You don't want to let people down. And a lot of people are like that. People have been, you've been known. I remember many years ago when I think either there was a strike, a bus strike or something, some sort of strike, and I needed to get to work, and I walked for like an hour to get to my workplace. That was a long time ago, but I was able to walk to work for an hour. I think by the time I got to work, I was absolutely shattered. But I did walk to work and got there. But I can't remember whether it was a strike or there was something wrong with the road. I have no idea, but I know there was no buses on the way. I used to just take where I used to live. It was just one straight road, and I would just take a bus to get to my workplace because there was no parking or whatever. So you just take a bus, or mostly it was always a bus. I never really walked. I only walked if I needed to come back home, but I did walk. But that was a long time ago. I don't think I could do it now. I mean, now I walk for fun, but I don't think I would walk to get to work, because by the time I get there, I'll be so tired. But it's so funny because there was a guy on another day, totally different occasion altogether. But quite recently, maybe about 2 weeks ago, I'm driving on the main road again, same main road. There's a guy with a sign. He's standing by the road, hitchhiking, and he had a sign which said another village or something like that near where I live, which would have been maybe another about 10-minute drive to get to that particular place. So he had a sign, but he was standing in the middle of nowhere. It was not just in the middle of nowhere. It was so strange because you'd think, where did he come from? Because there are no houses anywhere near here, unless he had been walking. But for him to have been walking and also had a piece of cardboard already with a sign that says where he's going, it sounded a little bit suspect. But I did slow down. Because he was in the road. He was literally in the road. This is a road where there is no pedestrian. No pedestrian should be walking on it because there's nowhere to walk. It's literally just country road. So it was so... I don't know why people do it, because sometimes people just put their own lives at risk. He must have been really desperate to go where you wanted to go. So I kind of slowed down. So as I was slowing down, but there was nowhere, there's a lay-by, a small lay-by just in like further down. And I thought, well, if nobody else picks him, gives him a lift, I'll just stop at the lay-by and kind of like honk or whatever and give him a lift to maybe then like a place which is more civilized, so to speak, rather than where he was. But it was a little bit risk, it was a little bit dangerous of me to even think of doing that. But it just felt, maybe I'm just too nice. I don't know, or I just feel sorry for people too much. But I know people end up getting into trouble because of things like that, where you just like you want to stop and help a person, and then you're the one who gets into trouble. But the fact that he already had a cardboard box, and which was written whatever, like the destination of where you wanted to go, but he was like, they're just farms. And you're like, and the gate to the farm wasn't anywhere close to where he was. So I just wondered, yeah, I wondered where he had come from and what he was doing and possibly what his intentions were. So even though I didn't feel like I wanted to give him a lift, I still felt sorry for him enough to slow down. Lucky enough, the person behind me actually stopped because I had slowed the cars down. So because I slowed the cars down, someone was actually able to then stop and give him a lift. So thank goodness it wasn't me. So I didn't feel guilty then after that, because I know the problem with us, when you've got a soft, like a soft spot for other humans, I suppose, you always tend to just put yourself in the same situation as they are in and feel like, well, if it was me, I would really, really appreciate it if somebody gave me a lift. But to tell you the truth, it was just dangerous. People shouldn't do it. So there you go. So I was happy that I didn't have to give him a lift. But that was the last experience. So hopefully, nothing like that. I don't get to see strange people just walking on the road the next couple of weeks, because I don't think my heart can take it anymore. I've already attempted to do good enough. Well, I did one good. And I attempted another good. So I think I've done enough to last me a whole year now. Maybe not. But something else is going to happen and I'll be like, oh my God, I need to help that person. But it's just human nature, I suppose. And everybody goes through it. But that was my experience, and that's actually just made me decide, as soon as I get home today, I'm gonna film a video. And here I am, I filmed the video. So yeah, thank you, bye.